really surprising to look across and see before you the green fields of Belgium, actual trees. The grass, of course, churned up a good deal, fields churned up with barrage shells, but it was, as far as we were concerned, then to look back from where we came, back to Ypres, there was devastation.
They were everywhere. If I'd been able to see and hear them, I could have not been conscious of their presence. No, they would not be lonely. There were too many of them. I saw that bare country before me, the miles and miles of torn earth, the barbed wire, the litter, the dead trees. But the country would come back to life. The grass would grow again, the wildflowers return, and trees where now there were only splintered skeleton stumps. They would lie still and at peace below the singing larks, beside the serenely flowing rivers. They could not feel lonely. They would have one another, and they would have us also, though we were going home and leaving them behind. We belonged to them, and they would be part of us forever. I first went to a battlefield with my father, and he was a veteran at Dunkirk, and I was fascinated by his remembrance of the ground, the curves in the ground. And this is something I've discovered old soldiers really know about, is the lie of the land. But what in fact happened in my case was that I had a chance meeting with a military historian in Britain, Professor Richard Holmes, who's a leading interpreter of battlefields. And we discussed it, and I was coming at it from the point of view of a landscape photographer. And I was interested in photographing the battlefields, and he asked me to take some pictures of one or two battlefields for him. And I suddenly realized there was this whole subject which I knew nothing about. And it then struck me that with 2014 coming on, it was going to be the 100th anniversary of the war. So between us, we agreed that what we wanted to do was to document the battlefields as they are today. Light is the important thing. One has got to go back and to try and get light which lends some kind of drama and meaning to the subject. I know one of the photographs took me 9 hours to get because it was a bad day. It was just terrible weather, and it was literally only in the sort of the dying end of the day, as the sun was just setting, that suddenly the lights were absolutely perfect, and it's a shot of a rainbow over Messines Ridge. And for me it was a perfect photograph because there's this great column of red light coming up out of the ground, the rainbow, which was exactly what they described the mines exploding at Messines on the day as looking like. These are fields where battles took place. I'm not seeking to show the misery and the horror of the battlefield. I'm just trying to show that nature has indeed come along and healed it. And the reason for that is, and I'd like to read this quotation. These are the words of King George V when he visited Tynecott Cemetery at Passchendaele in 1922. Tynecott, as you probably know, it's the biggest Commonwealth war grave cemetery in the world, 12,500 men and 34,000 unknown soldiers. I have many times asked myself whether there can be more potent advocates of peace upon earth through the years to come than this massed multitude of silent witnesses to the desolation of war.